Okay, so on this rainy day, isn't it so nice out on this rainy day? Gosh, it's such a joy to have weather like this when we're used to, we're so spoiled, right? It's like, oh, yay, rain. Some people are around the world are like, thank God the rain has stopped, right? So it's a beautiful thing to be in the presence of that which you are not accustomed to, whether, when the weather changes. And certainly the rainy days are such a treat here and such a blessing to have nourishment of water. So it made me think of so much makes me think of this book, but To Bless the Space Between Us by John O'Donohue. And he has each of the elements, he has a blessing for each of the elements. So I thought I would read In Praise of Water today, since we finally have had a little bit of quenching of our earth thirst, right? Okay. In praise of water, let us bless the grace of water, the imagination of the primeval ocean, where the first forms of life stirred and emerged to dress the vacant earth with warm quilts of color. The well whose liquid root worked through the long night of clay, trusting ahead of itself openings that would yield to its yearning, until at last it arises in the desire of light to discover the pure quiver of itself, flowing crystal clear and free through delighted emptiness. The courage of a river to continue belief in the slow fall of ground, always falling farther toward the unseen ocean. The river does what words would love, keeping its appearance, but insisting on disappearance. Its only life surrendered to the event of pilgrimage, carrying the origin to the end, seldom pushing or straining, keeping itself to itself, everywhere all along its flow, all at one with its sinuous mind, an utter rhythm, never awkward. It continues to swirl through all unlikeliness with elegance, a ceaseless traverse of presence, soothing on each side the stilling fields, the sounding out its journey, raising up in a buried music where the silence of time becomes almost audible. Tides stirred by the eros of the moon draw from the permanent restlessness perfect waves that languidly rise and pleat in gradual forms of aquamarine to offer every last tear of delight at the altar of stillness inland. And the rain in the night, driven by the loneliness of the wind to perforate the darkness, as though some air pocket might open to release the perfume of the lost day and salvage some memory from its forsaken turbulence and drop its weight of longing into the earth and anchor. Let us bless the humility of water, always willing to take the shape of whatever otherness holds it. The buoyancy of water, stronger than the deadening downward drag of gravity. The innocence of water, flowing forth without thought of what awaits it. The refreshment of water, dissolving the crystals of thirst. Water, voice of grief, cry of love in the flowing tear. Water, vehicle and idiom of all the inner voyaging that keeps us alive. Blessed be water, our first mother. So close your eyes and absorb the moisture of the day. And as maybe you have a window open and you can smell the earth that's been quenched. Whatever it is that the rain nourishes within you, let's feel and savor. Breathe in the humidity of the air. Let yourself become still. It's dropping down with gravity. See if you can feel the roots of yourself. Self over to the fullness of your breath, the flow of your breath. As always, letting your mind kind of tether into the sensations of breathing and into the sensations of the body. Allow your shoulders to release, sense of openness across your heart. Tip back your head just slightly so that you feel that you're aligned and move away from that tendency to jut our head forward. And as you balance your head over your spine and over your pelvis, feel the sense of stillness. Feel ready. Bring your palms together and let's create an intention. How can you use the nourishment of the rain, the fluidity of water to nourish what is needed within you? Let's release your hands and find your way onto your back. So as we come to lie down, notice just the giving of your body down into the earth, that beautiful sense of surrender and yielding. I think this is especially important at the beginning of your practice to kind of cue your mind and body into the presence of your yoga practice. Okay, so here you are. Everything else that you have to do today will still be waiting for you when you come off your mat. So allow yourself to just enter into, the grace and the presence of your practice. When you feel ready, go ahead and stretch your arms overhead and feel the reaching and length of your body. Lengthening one side a little bit, lengthening the other side a little bit, and just awakening your side bodies and enjoying what it feels like to open yourself up. Breathing deeply. Your knees together, bring them in toward your chest and give a little rocking, a little swaying. Let's circle the knees, kind of rolling them here in one direction. Nice easefulness through your hip joints. Go the other way 2 or 3 times. And then let's enjoy opening up our hips away from the middle and bringing them back in. And just kind of say hello to the inner rims or the full rims of your hip joints. And right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground. And feel free to move around now, some circles in your ankles, wiggling your toes, rolling about, breathing deeply. Give a good, tight, snug squeeze into that knee. And then let's switch sides. Other knee in, right leg gets longer on the ground. Keep rolling around in your feet, wiggling your toes, moving those ankles. Good full squeeze, a nice snug squeeze of that knee into your hip, into your chest. And then stretch out big and wide, starfish your limbs outward, reaching into space. Let's roll your ankles and your wrists now and maybe wiggle your fingers and open and close your palms, whatever feels good for the edges of your body. And draw your knees into your chest. Pick up your head, a snug little ball. And then release your head back down onto the ground.
Let's put your feet on the ground and go ahead and windshield wiper your knees left and right, just inviting a little bit of twisting into your body. Breathing deeply. You can kind of find your way into any feeling of a twist that feels good. Maybe you want to stay on one side. Maybe you want to keep moving from left and right. Maybe you want to separate your legs and go a little deeper into the twist to see what feels right for your body in this moment. Make sure you're breathing no matter what you're doing in your body. The breath is your friend, it's your guide, it's your sanctuary for your mind. All right, then stretch one more time into a big star on the ground. Reach into your limbs. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze your muscles. Kind of activate everywhere you can, including your fists and your face. And then release your breath. And let's draw your knees into your chest one more time. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, pick up your head. All your breath out. Give a good squeeze to the front of your body, whatever you can feel. And then release on out. Take the soles of your feet together, your arms out to the sides, and just allow your knees to fall outward so you sense a little bit of a Supta Baddha Konasana. Of course, if your hips are not happy, you can put your fists underneath your legs for a moment so you have a little extra support, or your blocks. And just take a moment to yield into the ground and give yourself over to the earth. Take advantage of all the space in your pelvis and your belly and in your chest, and breathe deeply. Then release your knees back in toward the middle, and let's roll to your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so enjoy some cat-cows, and truly I offer that cue of enjoy. Okay, so see what it feels like to just feel the rippling of your vertebrae. Can we be filled with gratitude for the ways in which our bodies move today? Fill yourself up with breath, empty yourself fully out. After a few rounds of cat-cow, feel free to move your spine in all sorts of directions. Anything that awakens and enlivens you. It can be through your pelvis, your ribs, your shoulders, your neck, all the ways you want to move. And then take your knees fairly far apart and stretch back toward a deep child's pose. Drop your hips down toward your heels. Walk the hands far out in front of you and just let your body lengthen. Surrender toward the ground. Let your forehead touch if it goes there. If not, maybe a block, but just see what it feels like to surrender your skull. Breathe along your sides. Breathe into your shoulders. Breathe along your spine. Just notice where the breath moves your back body. Let's take a side body stretch here. Walk your hands over to one side or the other so that you feel that full length through your sides, stretching through your shoulders, stretching through your lats. And walk the hands over to the other side and feel that reach and length. Dropping some weight down into your hips, soften your breath. Right, coming back to the center again, back up on all fours, move your spine around, move your head around, anything that feels good. Reaching the arm up, let's go ahead and find our twist. Drop that shoulder down, either side, whatever side you're doing first is good. Feel that twist in the spine. Keep your neck neutral, relax your head. Let your breath fill up and empty out. And then face the ground with your chest. Stretch the backside of your shoulder a little bit more. Opening up the backside of the shoulder capsule. Inhale, reach that arm all the way up in the air, hand comes down onto the ground. Let's change sides, arm lifting. Exhale, drop that shoulder down, feel the twist in your body, enjoy every posture we get into. See what's enjoyable, what's the delight in your body. And then face the ground a little bit more, stretching the back side of that shoulder. Opening up your breath. Exhale, and lift that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. All right, let's find our way to a dog pose. So pick up your knees off the ground. Let's pedal through your feet here. Just find the movement that's available. So perhaps pedaling your feet, dropping one heel way down into the earth and then the other heel way down into the earth. And just notice the sensation that you feel in your feet and in your calves. Kind of opening up that back line of the body, starting at your feet. And your pedals can be slow or they can be fast, whatever feels awakening for your body, but just letting some movement happen. And then ground through your hands. Let's not forget about the rest of our body. So feel that deep sense of rooting and rising and feeling the length through your shoulders, through your ribs, through your heart. Feel the femur bones lift up and draw back. See if you can feel a little inner spiral of the thighs. Ground into the four corners of your hands, ground into the beds of your toes. How's your breathing? All right, and then walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. Folding a little bit more deeply, letting your knees bend, maybe bobbling your head, maybe wagging your tail. Find your way to a halfway lift. Feel your breath in. And then as you exhale, melt and fold to bend your knees. Let your spine waterfall toward the ground. One more time, a halfway lift. Let's hang out here, but keep breathing. All right, so lift your femur bones up and back. Feel the bottom of your feet spread open again. Feel that long extension of the spine, lots of room to breathe. Exhale and release to fold again. Push off your feet, rising all the way up. Take your time. We were down for a little while, so if you feel a little need for a midline squeeze to get your blood pressure equalized, go ahead and do that. All right, so reach your arms up, up, up. Lean back a little bit if it feels nice. Feel that open heart. Let's maybe cactus through your chest. Feel the squeeze of your shoulder blades. And then lift your arms straight up in the air. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms straight up. Take your feet a little wider apart, maybe as wide as the edges of your mat, and feel that extension through one side of your body. Tipping over to the side, back up, change the cross of your hands, press your palms toward the sky, and stretch open through the other side of your body. All right, bring your feet back to neutral. Release your hands, give your shoulders a good shake, maybe shake out your hands. And interlace your hands behind your back, open across the front of the heart. Feel your head tip up and back. Imagine a roll towel behind your neck so you're not compressing in the base of the skull. Breathing deeply. And then exhale and bend forward. And your hands, perhaps they leave your spine. Maybe they stay on your spine. Relax down. And release your hands. Interlace your elbows with your opposite hands. Shimmy your ribs off your hips a little bit. Relax and bobble your head. Then inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold again. Step back to a dog pose. Take your hands on the mat and reach your feet back. Feel that extension in the body again. Here we are, second time around. See what it might feel like to drop your heels See if you can even touch them, even if you have to kind of do some different things in your body than you normally would. Bend your knees and allow your heels to descend toward the ground, and try to bend your knees as much as you can while the heels are touching. And then release that. Come forward into a plank, holding yourself steady. Feel that integration into the center of your body. Let's turn the navel to the right. And just feel that little twisting in your torso. Back to center, navel to the left. Facing the ground, chest and thighs. Back to center. Let's find the ground. Knees can come down first if you need. Find the ground. A couple of shoulder rolls. So nice to just feel your shoulder blades glide on your back. Inhale for a cobra when you feel ready for it. Exhaling to release your body back down. Inhale one more time. And of course, any positional change you want to do is fine. And then release to come back again. Come up. Let's keep the toes curled under. Stretch back towards child's pose. Again, just another way of waking up the feet. Spread the bones of your toes. Touch your ankles. Drop your heels back toward, or your hips back toward your heels. And then release that. Come on to all fours again. Move your spine around a little bit. And then sit back onto your heels. All right, and find a little bit of your asana. Maybe this is available to you, maybe it's not. You know, if you can't fold that deeply in your ankles or your knees, you can always support with a block underneath you if you need. Just feel that compression through your legs. And come off of that, and let's bring our right foot forward to a lunge. Let your back knees stay on the ground for a moment. Hug in toward the midline with your legs so that your inner thighs kind of find magnetized toward the middle. And then we'll rise up, bringing the left arm up in the air, feeling that extension and length. And let's turn this into a twist. So forearm, hand, or elbow on your knee. And the other hand, right hand on your thigh to help you lift your spine. Come deeply into your lunge without falling and losing the support of that hug to the midline. Open up across your collarbones. Try not to collapse your chest. And release and relax your hands onto your blocks. Lift your back knee up off the ground, coming into a full lunge. Okay. Let's wake up the hamstrings a little bit more here. Now, as you come back and forth, so we'll bend the front knee. When you straighten the front leg, and you might need to have blocks on high underneath you, you decide the height. We're going to lift our toes up off the ground and drop our chin toward our chest. And then bend your knee and lift your heart. So this will kind of floss that sciatic nerve. Give it a little bit of space embedded in there. There's so much. You know, when you look at the anatomy chart and you see pictures of nerves or muscles, you forget how smushed in all of it is together. So there's not a whole lot of room for the sciatic nerve, and it can get hung up on things for sure. So let's let it have some of that fluidity and glide. Okay. Next time you come to a lunge, ground your feet. Inhale, lift your arms high to the sky, or maybe you're in a different position today. Maybe something else feels better in your body. Remember always and forever that your yoga practice is for you. It's not for a prescription of what is supposed to be done. Let's twist over to the right. Hug to the midline still. Feel that reach of the spine. And then swing your arms back up. Hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward, folding deeply. Feel the length of that back body starting to open. Inhale for a halfway lift. Soles of the feet spread, sit bones lift high. Exhale and fold again. Step back with your right foot. So our left foot is in front now. Place your knee
down onto the ground, and just enjoy that deep hip flexor stretch here. Drop weight into your knee and your foot, find the midline. Hug toward that midline. When you're ready, lifting that right arm up in the air, feeling that extension in the body. It's so easy if you're very flexible to just kind of collapse and fall. See if you can hug to the midline, press into the ground, feel those supports. When a twist is available, you can put your hand, your forearm, or your elbow on your knee, other hand on your thigh, keeping that upward posture. Keep hugging to the midline, keep grounding through your foot and knee. How's your breath in this twist? You open up through that hip flexor deeply. And then coming back to your hands on the block. Let's lift your knee off the ground. And then finding your way into movement as we open up the hamstring. When you start to pass into that straight leg variation, try picking up your toes and tucking your chin. And then coming back into the full lunge. So, just go where your body goes. There's no rules that you have to be so deep in this posture. See what it feels like to keep your spine elongated. Finding breath. When you feel ready for it, ground your feet. Feel your roots lifting your arms up to the sky when you feel ready for it, and perhaps you have a different variation. Maybe your arms are somewhere else today. Full breaths. Ground into your feet. Let's twist open to the left now. Spread open your wings, heart to hands. Hug toward the middle with your legs. Round your front heel. And then inhale and reach the arms back up. Hands down onto the ground. Dog pose. Feeling that extension, let's take our feet wide on the mat. Lift your femur bones up and way back. With this nice wide-footed stance, let's go ahead and come forward into a plank and just notice the difference when your legs are wide. All right, and then we'll put our knees down onto the ground and choose a back bend. It can be an up dog or a cobra or sphinx or locust or any posture that really feels nice in your body. Melt to fold to come back down. Okay. Come up onto all fours. Move your spine around one more time, and we'll bring our right foot forward again. This time our back knee is going to come up off the ground. We'll find our way up. We're going to find a deeper twist. So there's so many variations. You can put your elbow on your knee and palms together. You can put your hand on the ground or on a block and the arm up to the sky. Anything in between. So just find the twist that's right for your body. This back leg, let your femur bone lift, widen your sit bones. Feel that grounding of your front foot. Press it into the earth. And then release your hands. Turn and open sideways on your mat. So a nice wide-legged stance. Drop your torso toward the ground. You're going to bend into your left knee to stretch open the right inner thigh a little bit more. And you can go as deep as you want into this left knee bend. And then over to the other side. The focus here is on opening up that inner hamstring, the inner thigh muscles. Bending into that right knee as much as you want to. And then back to a neutral, wide-legged stance. Release your head back down onto the ground or toward the ground. And then we'll swing back again to the front of your mat. Walk your back foot forward, Uttanasana. A halfway lift.
Melt to fold. Stepping our right foot back, come to a lunge on this side. Ground your feet, rising up, bringing the arms upward. Let's find a twist on this side. See if you can do the same thing we did on the other side. If your elbow was on the knee, try that. If your hand was on a block, try that. So whatever is working, we're hugging to the midline. We're lifting your back thigh and widening the sit bones, rooting into your front foot. Spread those toes. All right, and come back to center. Let's go ahead and find child's pose for a moment. Again, your knees can be nice and wide if you like them to be so. A full breath. Come back up onto all fours. And let's pass through a dog pose just to find that transition. Once more, drop your heels, lift your sit bones, and we'll walk our feet forward. We're going to take a deep squat. So again, if your knees don't deepen your squats well, that's okay. Just be where you are. My attempt here is to get you to stretch your soleus muscle, which is the muscle underneath your gastrocnemius, your big calf muscle. So it's a little bit different to stretch it than just bending forward like an Uttanasana. So see what it feels like to rock a little bit back toward your heels. Try not to round your spine super a lot where we're really compressing. See if you can keep upright a little bit. And then if you're comfy, see what it feels like to rock just a little bit of weight into your heels, rock a little weight into your toes. And if you're not this deep, that's okay. You just be where you are. And come back onto your knees. Wiggle your spine. And then let's move into a cow pose. So tailbone up, chin up, touch your teeth. And then find the neutral spine. Stretch your right leg straight back behind you and your left arm out in front of you. And find that transition into front and back body strength, top and bottom body strength. Feeling that integration. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, elbow and knee. Bringing it out again. Place that hand and knee on the ground. Okay. Let's switch sides. Other leg up. Engage your core, engage your glutes. Find that right arm lifting out in front of you. Your floating arms, let them hug into the body. Keep your neck neutral and long. Deep inhale, and as you exhale, elbow and knee come under. Inhale to bring it out. Exhale, hand and knee onto the ground. Lift up to a dog pose and breathe. Walk your feet forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold. Bend your knees, coming up to stand. Okay. We're going to come to a wall or a piece of furniture. So you find yourself moving into a half lift so that you can get your feet underneath your pelvis. Try not to fall and collapse toward the ground. See if you can integrate under your armpits. Feel a little lift. Femur bones back and open up your spine. Imagine that you have someone kind of pulling your femur bones back and also lengthening your spine toward your crown. So a little bit of self-traction here. And then take a step forward. Okay. Coming into Tadasana for a moment. A full breath here. Inhale, Open up, lean back a little bit if it feels really solid and good to have a little back bend in your body. You can open up across your chest if it feels good. And then release your hands. Okay, so a little bit of a shorter stance. Come into Parsvottanasana with your legs. Right foot is in front, hands on your hips. Feel the lift of your heart. So draw your elbows back instead of having them out to the sides. Draw your elbows back. Open up across the front of your chest and your heart. Descend the tailbone, root into the 2 feet. Lean back to whatever place is happy for your body, and then start to lengthen forward. Now immediately find those bird dogs in your legs, those glutes and the hamstrings. As you tip forward, engage through the backs of your legs. Root into your feet. Feel the length of your spine again. Full breaths here. All right, come all the way back up. Bring both arms up in the air. And we'll swing forward. Bring your hands onto blocks. Now, when we come into Parsvottanasana like this, we can bear weight a lot with our hands. Try to bear a little less so that we're working with the legs. They're both in a lengthening, a stretch, but also they have to engage. And this can be really profound for strengthening your muscles to be able to engage them while they're in length instead of in a full contraction. So root into the feet. Allow the inner thighs to roll back, squaring up the hips. Find your breath. Draw that right hip way back, still widening the sit bones. Press into the feet and come all the way back up. Walk your back foot forward. Come into a chair, kind of a chair pose. Our feet are hip width apart. Take your hands on the outside edges of your knees. Ground your big toe mounds, the whole inner seam of your foot. Drag your feet apart. Press your knees into your hands, hands into your knees. Activate that side line of the body. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Left foot in front. Right foot behind. So our stance is shorter than a lunge. Bring your hands onto your hips again, elbows back. Now, when you come into this pose, try not to just jut your floating ribs forward. Let the shoulders and the chest be what opens, and see if you can stay integrated in the ribs. Root into the feet. Open up across your heart. And then release your hands so your elbows don't have to pull back so hard. Drop into your feet and lengthen forward. So again, your glutes and your hamstrings are working hard to hold you here, so you're not relying on your back. The feet are rooting down so that we're starting to lengthen our glutes and our hamstrings, but with engagement. So there's a flex stretch happening at the same time. And then inhale, come on up. Bring the arms up to the sky. And then come forward, hands on blocks. It's so easy to just round the spine and collapse here. Let's not do that. Root into the feet. Roll the inner thighs back. Wide sit bones, a little lift of the tailbone. Feel the extension through your spine instead of the collapse of your spine. Lighten up your touch on your blocks. Rely on your legs. Press them into the ground. How's your breath? That front leg might want to kind of roll out. See if you can drop weight into the big toe and inner heel and feel that inner spiral. Come all the way back up. Push through your feet to do so. Back foot comes forward one more time. Coming into a wide chair. Feet hip width apart, hands on knees. Press your knees into the outer knees. Try to drag your feet apart on the mat. Find breath. Now, come all the way up to stand up onto your toes if it feels good to do so. And then heels coming back down. Grab a block, stick it between your thighs, and find your way into a chair. Draw your put your hands on your hips and draw your elbows back like we were just doing a moment ago. Float the ribs in. Draw weight into your heels and draw your knees back into your hips. Round through the big toes, inner heels, and pull your feet apart at the same time as hugging the block. And reach the arms overhead. Neutralize your neck. Find your breath. Now pulse, just a few pulses. Pulse while you get some extra juice into your legs. And stand up straight. Release your arms down. Take that block away. Standing in Tadasana. Full breaths. Let's take our right foot in front. Left foot is behind, shorter stance again. Feel that reach into the sky, the full length of your spine. Arms out to the sides, tip forward, pause here. Feel that work. And then when you're ready, go a little deeper and bring your hands onto the blocks. You might need to stack your 2 blocks. We're coming into Parsva Konasana. So hand on 1 block or 2 blocks, or whatever feels stable. Wide sit bones, square hips. Lengthen through your spine. And then start to tip to the right, twisting to the right. Reach that right arm up in the air. Drop your shoulders. Wide sit bones. Notice if your right hip wants to push out to the side, keep it in line with your foot. Find that breath. See if you can unfurl the whole twist. Stay rooted through the inseam of your right foot. And then come back around, neutral spine, back foot comes forward, a halfway lift on blocks. So you feel that long extension of your spine. Take your feet wider apart and fold into a forward fold. Let your back relax. Come to a halfway lift again. Readjust your feet. Left foot's in front, right foot behind. Inhale and climb all the way back up. Feel that extension. Bring now your right arm up in the air. Feel that length. Tip forward. Pause for a moment so you can feel the work of your legs holding you here. Engage your core, your pelvic floor. Find all the support systems. And when you're ready, lengthen a little bit deeper. Bring your hand onto 1 block or 2 blocks, your choice of how you want to be in this posture. Reach, so first, before you twist, ground your legs, inner spiral your thighs, keep your hips square, lengthen through your spine, and then twist open. So stay grounded in your legs, keep hugging that left hip in and back. Move your shoulders away from the ears. Give a little space for your neck. How's your breathing? Can you twist a little deeper on your exhales? Relax your hand back down. We're going to turn sideways again on your mat, a wide-legged stance. Okay. Now from here, from these nice wide legs, turn your toes out and come to a deep squat. Elbows inside your knees, opening up your inner thighs again. Finding your breath. And then straighten your legs. Put your hands on 2 blocks on whatever height feels good so that there's a lot of length in your spine. Thigh bones back, shin bones a little forward. Feel the breath and width across the balanced pelvis. And when you're ready, turn and face the front of your mat for a dog pose. Last time through a plank, let's come forward, holding yourself steady and rooted. Integrate into the center of your body. Then find the ground. Take your legs a little bit wide so that your toes touch the edges of your mat. You can curl your toes under, lift your thighs up so you can move your whole thigh. And you get to choose. Maybe you want to just lift your legs. Maybe you want to lift everything. Just see what feels good to integrate the back body. And then release your head on your hands. Put your knees back in neutral territory and windshield wiper your knees. Bring your left knee up high toward your armpit. And let's cross that arm over and twist open and just enjoy a more passive twist versus the active ones we've been doing. Open across your chest. I hope you love this pose as much as I do. And if you don't, try to figure out what you can do to help yourself. Maybe a little less deep. Maybe you're lifting your knee a little further away from the ground. Back to center, switching sides. Be mindful of where your blocks are so they don't get in your way. Right knee up. We're gonna cross the left arm over to the right and then twist open. Enjoy the passivity. Your head is resting. Your hands are resting. Full breaths. Roll back, come up. Onto your hands and your knees. Take a moment there, wiggle around. And then we'll find a seat, comfortable seat. Grab a blanket to sit upon so that we have a nice stable support for our pelvis. Finding your breath. We're gonna straighten the right leg and cross the left knee over. All right, so first just get a hip stretch in here. You can kind of wrap your forearm around your knee, draw your knee in toward your chest, lift up through your spine, maybe tip your pelvis forward a little bit, just kind of find that stretch in your hip. And then we'll turn this into a bit of a deeper twist. So a couple of choices. You can wrap your forearm, you can put your elbow under your knee, you can twist this way. If this feels like, oh, I just get stuck in this twist, then twist the other way. Unlock your knee, put your foot on the inside edge of that thigh and twist open. So you don't have to twist closed, you can twist open. Just make sure you do the same thing on the other side. All right, so whichever twist you're doing, we're on the center of our sit bones, our spine is lifted, our hand behind us is supporting us. Have you noticed your breath? Okay, coming back to center, straighten that left leg. We're gonna bend our right knee. Cross that right knee over your left thigh. Wrap your forearm around that knee and just play with stretching your hip a little bit. Sometimes I like to do a little rocking in this pose. Sometimes I like to be very still. So just find that outer hip and let it open. Finding your breath. Now remember, you can do a closed twist by twisting to the right here, or if that feels cumbersome to your body, you can take your foot, your right foot on the inside edge and twist open like this. Okay, so your choice, just try to do what you did on the other side so that you make sure you're twisting your spine in both directions. Remember, your elbow can be on the outer knee, your elbow can be on the inner knee, and you can hold with your hand or your forearm. Remember, we're not trying to use our bones to leverage the twisting too much. So we want to viscerally twist, and the bones are there to support, but not to overcompensate. So we don't want to push ourselves. Feel ready, come out of that pose. Take the soles of your feet together and move them away from you so you form a square or a diamond between your legs. Feel the lift. We're still on the edge of a blanket. Feel the lift of your spine, knees, elbows on knees to press them down. It's very easy to round the spine here. Let's try not. See if you can feel the long extension of your spine, heart reaching forward. Full breaths. Come on up. Not everybody does well with Paschimottanasana. This is this forward bend with our legs straight. So if you know that this is a little bit of an aggravating pose for your spine, you can do this with your legs a little wider. You can do this with your legs very wide and change into Upavista Konasana. So, find the path. We're going to all end up in Upavista in a moment. But if you want to start out in Paschimottanasana, you can have your feet hip width apart or even a little bit wider. I'm using a strap, so good. And a little subtle thing you can do with the strap that can help you not lose the inseam of your legs is take the strap around your feet and then wrap around the front of each foot with your strap so that the straps come around to the sides of your feet again. And this way you can press out through the big toes and inner heels a little bit more fully. Round your thighs, lift up through your spine. You're still on the edge of a blanket. Feel the length here, drop your shoulders and only go as far forward as your back is like, yep, that's an okay thing for me to do. And like I said, if this is difficult for your spine, take your legs wider apart. Thigh bones back and down. Lengthen up through your spine, flex your feet. Once you come to a place where that's your max, draw your chin toward your chest, but keep the spine long. Out of the posture as you are ready. And we'll all come into Upavista. So legs wide, you don't have to go to your max place. We don't want to strain the attachment of our inner hamstrings. Okay, so we're finding support with the blanket that we're sitting on. Reach up through your spine and let's have a little twist here. Right hand in front, left hand behind. Let's twist. Back to center, twist the other way. How's your breathing? To center. And again, we can come forward, but only to a place where our legs and our spine are in a happy, good place. It's very easy to overdo forward folds, especially if you have any disc issues. You want to be very mindful. Press your thigh bones down, so the rooting of your femur bones. You can even put your hands on there if you'd like. Lengthen forward with your kneecaps and toes still pointing straight up toward the sky. You can put your head in your hands and support with a couple of blocks or whatever you need for your elbows. You can come as deep into this posture as your long spine, grounded pelvis, and easygoing hamstrings allow. back on out of the pose. Let's bring our legs in. Come on to your back and put your feet flat on the ground for a moment. Have a block handy. Feet on the ground and just feel the neutral spine. So, forward folds are so good, but they're also, for some people, can be extremely challenging poses. So let's pay attention to how we responded to those poses. Let your head get heavy. And again, feel into the fullness of your breath. Take a block on its low height, even if you want to go higher, just take a nice low block underneath your sacrum, across your sacrum, just to kind of reset the neutral pelvis, letting your low back kind of soften into this slight arc. A full breath here. Follow your intuition if there's anything you want to do. Just letting our sacrum set. So if you have a tendency to push your discs out backwards during forward folds, this is your body's opportunity to reintegrate. Feel into your breath. Find our way into Shavasana. So sometimes getting your knees elevated, on a bolster or calves up on a couch or something can feel very good after the amount of forward folding we've done today. Or you might want to be totally flat. So just kind of sense into what your body needs. Of course, if there's any other poses like a twist or a hip, something that you need to feel at ease, all is well. Do whatever your body needs. And as you settle towards Shavasana, let's imagine ourselves as water that we are. We are so much of us is water. The majority of our body is made up of water. So let's see if we can feel that part of our nature. The rivers in our vessels. The soup inside ourselves, this bath of water that is the medium of every cell. As you breathe, imagine the shimmering nature of water, looking at a lake or an ocean. Knowing that's deep within us, the same. Here, what we see outside in the forms of water, all of them are mirrored within us.
feel grounding and yielding of your body. And deepen our breath. Create movement in any way that serves. So coming up as you're ready.
Do settle into a comfortable seat again. Take your time. Allow your shoulders to relax. And again, let's have a moment in praise of water and all the nurturing that this element provides for us, for the world. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.